Hello, 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 my happy Sunday hippies. It is Tammy coming to you live from my terribly messy office today. I've got on my "That's What I Do. I Smoke Pot and Know Things" shirt. And I figured this was the perfect day to unveil "That's What I Do" shirt. Let me go ahead and see if I can get this down just a little bit. There we go. That's what I do. I smoke pot and I know things. Because today we're going to smoke pot and know some things. That's what we're going to do. Let me fix my camera again. Boom, boom, boom. That's better because let me tell y'all what. My office, if I could show y'all that, oh, it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. It's awful. But as you jump on here, do me a favor. Say hello and tell me where you're watching from. I am live in a couple of places today, so tell me hello. Tell me where you're watching from. I'm live in the Hometown Hippie. I'm live in YouTube, and I'm live. Good morning, Dennis, and I'm live in the Party with Tammy VIP Love Lounge today. Strangely enough, I also have some sound bowls today. I have my cards today, and we are on Sunday number 2 of our DDDDDD system, right? And I have been struggling. This is my notebook. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Dennis. Says hello. Dennis Casey up from the Upper Peninsula. Heather Johns is down in Florida. So when you jump on here, make sure you say hello. And then there's 5 of you watching, and 2 of you said hello. I sometimes give away free stuff, so make sure you say hi to get entered for any of that stuff. Only people in the groups can see it. Good morning, beautiful people. I'm on my couch in Newton Falls. What's up, Mary Hotstetler up in Ohio? Ohio. And Sundays are for smoking pot and knowing things. Just what it is, right? Last Sunday, we took Sunday sermon and I dove into, and I didn't know I was going to do it really too much, but because I was going to start with the first D that I came up with, which was deserve, right? Which was deserve. And Source, God, whatever you want to call it, came in and said to me, Tammy, everyone deserves the life that they want. Everyone. So let's don't worry about them deserving it, because whether they admit that they deserve it or not, right? They do. So we're going to go ahead and assume that everyone that hears you has decided that they deserve it. So they're listening. If they don't deserve it, they don't know that they deserve it today. If they haven't figured that out today, you've planted the seed, and the day that they're supposed to start moving forward, they will decide. So let's don't spend any time on that, right? Good morning, Elizabeth. So last week we started with, instead of deciding that you deserve better, right? We went for defining it. We went for, tell me what it looks like to you. Tell me what that life that you want looks like to you. Tell me what it is that you're trying to manifest. Tell me what it is. And interestingly enough, sorry y'all, I walked 10 acres yesterday in muck boots, and the land that we looked at yesterday is very rolling hills, and my body hurts today. Like, I felt every step this morning, my hands, everything, because I grabbed stuff trying to like pull myself up. I'm swolled and I am a little icky today, so we're gonna be okay though. But last week we talked about defining it, right? We talked about being able to know what it is you're going for. It's like leaving your house to go on a road trip with no destination in mind, right? So this is kind of the idea of this, right? So when you define what it is, that's kind of like determining your destination. And so once you determine your destination, we go into designing it, and that's kind of like the roadmap. That's kind of like building the map, the step-by-step turns to get you to the destination. So let's think of it that way, right? So the life that you want is where you're heading to when you leave your house. That is when you walk out of your door, that is where you're heading, right? You're heading for that dream, that definition of happiness, that definition of success, that definition of whatever it is for you. And the way that you get there, right? The step-by-step turns, like, okay, I know what I want. Now what? Now you start designing the map. Now you start taking the lefts and the rights and making the choices and the decisions and doing the work to get to and to achieve, right, your definition of happiness, success, whatever that may be. What's interesting about this is that we have been on this roadmap of life, right, for quite a while. I've been on it for 47 years. And this whole time, right, I have been designing. And when I say design the life that you want, I am not talking, right? I am not talking about like hiring Joanna Gaines to make some farmhouse signs for it, to rearrange the furniture, right? That's not what I'm talking about. If designing it was that easy, and that's hard for some people to see like how it looks, right? It's not about rearranging the furniture, right? Designing it is not about the color of paint you put on the walls. Designing it is getting there. It's doing the work. It's doing the hard work. So once you define it, if you thought last week was like difficult in your mind's eye to see, like, to define what your happiness was, let me ask a question first and foremost, right? Tell me in the comments, do you have a goal? Yes, Mary Hotstettlers, today is her birthday. Y'all give her some happy birthday love in the comments. Send her some hearts, some O faces, some thumbs up, whatever you want to send, some laughy faces, whatever you want to send her. Pound on those buttons and please send her some birthday love today. But I also want you to tell me in the comments, right? Do you know what you're working for? Do you know what you're doing to define happiness? And here's the thing for me, right? There's lots of things that I can see that happy life, right? I can see the things that I want to manifest. I know what my goal is. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to do. And now I am designing that. And when I say that I can see it, I know what it is. So Dennis says no, he does not know what it is that he is trying to manifest. So Dennis, you need to stay in that defined stage, right? In that defined stage. Good morning, Melanie Lewis. Heather John says yes, she can see it. Good morning, everyone. Melanie Lewis says today is a brand new day. Great to do something nice for yourself. Feels like a pay it forward kind of day. I love that. But I want to know, like, do you know what it is and what you're working for? Do you know what it is? Do you have goals? Because that's the defined part. That's what we talked about last week, right? Was stopping and getting real. And I'm not saying that is Mary says, yes, I can definitely see those things. Last night I opened my eyes. I love that. And here's what's interesting, right? That definition of what that end goal is ever evolving, right? Can anybody tell me the things that you defined as success, as happiness, as goals when you were 18 are what you're working for at whatever age you are now? Unless you're 18, you're like, hell yeah, I'm 18 and you shouldn't be here. You should be 21. Party with Tame, you could be 18. But anyway, whole different story, right? But honestly, like for me, my definition of all of those things changes. It's ever evolving, right? It's ever evolving. It's flow. It's in flow, right? And sometimes that goal and that thing that you're trying to design may just be, it may be very, very, very easy. It may just be, I want to stay in flow. Yeah, exactly. Right. Totally different life now, right? To stay in flow. I just want to hold space despite of, right? I just want, in your goals and your definition of what that success is, it's all up to you. I am not saying like, oh, I have a goal of this or I have a goal. Maybe some people have built their dream home. Some people have built their dream home, live on their dream piece of property. Some people have had the career of their goals at each stage of your life changes. That's what I'm telling you, right? Your goal is not my goal. My goal is not your goal. My definition, your definition, all the things that we work towards in this world, in this life, in this meat suit that we're wearing, it's ever evolving. It's never the same as the person next door to you. Um, I feel like it is unique as your fingerprint, right? It is as unique as your fingerprint because the details are yours and yours alone. I cannot visualize what Heather Johns exactly wants out of her life. Even if she and I sat down together one on one and she went through exactly what she wanted, I guarantee you if we drew a picture and we both got the exact same description of the picture, her picture and my picture would be different, even with the same description of it, because we each have our own lens and perspective which we see it through. That's why the defining piece is so important, right? Because it's your definition. No one, and this goes into the next part, right? Which is today why designing is so hard. So I think defining, we feel like if we can let go of the permanency of the definition, right? If we can let go of the, oh, well, if I define what I want and I change my mind, well, I'm on the path there. Defining what you want is important, right? But being able to go with the flow, and it should change. It's ever changing. It's don't get caught up on that, right? That makes defining a lot easier. You not feel like we talked about this last week. Like it's not like, okay, well, I made that decision at 18 and that's what I have to do. And I think a lot of people of my generation, and I'm not stressing over, I'm not saying other generations are different in a bad way at all. I'm not. I'm saying of like older generations, right? Is that we were conditioned to all kind of they wanted us to all have the same thing, right? Because it was easy to market that to people. It was easy to help you, like to keep you, control you to get that, right? We all knew like the house, the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, the 3-bedroom 2-bath. That's kind of the American dream. Have a good retirement. They conditioned us to want that, right? So we have a harder time kind of being in flow with understanding that there's a different way to live your life. I 100% envy, and I try not to do envy or jealousy or any of that stuff, younger generations, because they have all this, like, this freedom of like flow and alternate ways, and people don't kind of we don't do that anymore. We don't like say this is what you need, this is what you're gonna do. I love this. Heather says, I think of my path as an expressway. There are many exits. You can always get off and back on, because I do it all the time. Speaking of that, my stomach is like flip flopping. And I know it's allergies, but it's sour this morning. And I just realized I'm like, oh, I am very nauseous, like super duper nauseous. And I'm only like, I was so nauseous this morning, like not feeling really great as far as allergy stuff, like all this in here. I took my open sesame, I rolled it all on. It's on my temples. It's like I put the 2 little dots under here, 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 everywhere. I'm not even drinking coffee. I'm drinking what? Agua this morning. I took a shower before I came live because I needed to get all the heat and stuff. Small tangent, sorry. But that's exactly it, right? Because that's the thing. Because your definition of success is ever changing, ever flowing, the way that you design it, what I'm talking about with designing it, I'm talking about the work that goes along with getting there, right? That's the design of it, right? The design is not picking up the paint colors. The designing it's actually like taking the steps to get to where you want to be. And a lot of people come into these journeys and these definitions and they're like, okay, the first thing I have to do is I have to release all that which is not serving me, right? That's kind of our goal. We have to release all the things that don't work for us. And, we're like, well, I have to have my job because I have to pay bills. Like I have to still live. And then we start seeing all the things that we think that no longer serve us. We're like, well, my job sucks. I don't want to do that. Like the guy I'm with, the girl I'm with is an asshole. Like they really get on my nerves. I don't like my house. My kids kind of suck. So I'm just gonna get rid of everything and start over, right? That is not it, y'all. Okay, so let's start. Let's do an easy one. Let's like kind of like talk through an easy one. I don't want to do improv. I feel like I'm on like improv. Remember that? Like, what's your line? Like, give me something that doesn't serve you. Give like a place. Like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm going to give you a scenario, and I'm not asking you to shout it out from the audience. This is kind of contrived, right? So, for example, if you are not happy in your life, sometimes you tend to look at that and then you knee jerk react to things that piss you off, right? You knee jerk react to the things that piss you off, and you're like, I'm gonna get rid of everything. I'm like, your kids are 3 and 4. You can't just like get rid of your kids. They don't, uh, right? You can't do that. Sometimes it's not as easy as just like getting rid of everybody. Now, you can 1,000,000% remove yourself from toxic relationships. At any moment, you need to do that. But if you're a parent and you are raising your children, just because they're assholes and they don't serve you, you serve them, does not mean you get to like walk away, right? I'm not getting into the people that do that. That's a whole other thing. But they get older, you have to let them have some wings. But I know some of the little kids are like, I just want to get rid of these little like crumb crunchers and like go to a spa. I'm like, that is an easy fix, right? That is like dealing with situational things. I am talking about like getting to the place where you are happy, right? Where you are happy. And if you feel unhappiness with yourself or a lack of in your life, I am talking about finding a place where you can find your happiness, where you can define your peace, where you can define your success, and you can hold space and stay in flow despite of all the things around you that kind of suck. So for me, designing, like I have to do a couple of things. Number one, the first thing that I know whenever this is going to be a couple of parts to this series, but with designing the life that you want, the definition of it is very important. For me, this is what I'm going to take you through my kind of like version of this. The day that I walked out of my bathroom when I started this journey for me, I saw my belly. My belly was like in the mirror, and I was like looking around on like my head and my belly. Like I had gotten so heavy, right? And it wasn't, and seeing the belly was really seeing the belly, seeing my body in a way that did not like that made me so sad was more of a metaphor for the fact that I was grieving the loss of my mother so hard that I was doing it at the detriment of my health. That I was honoring the loss of my mother by doing the things that she did to self-destruct her life. It was excess. It was food. It was giving myself love through food, through poor, like smoking cigarettes, through poor health choices, because I didn't feel that I deserved to take care of myself. It was a lack of love for myself. When I defined, and that night when I sat in that bathroom and I defined, the world was too big. Everything was too big. I did not like my job. I don't think I even had a job at the time, maybe. I don't know. I know I didn't. I had a job. I hated it. Did not like my job. It was killing me. I was stressed of it was killing me. I hated it. I had no creativity. I was in a corporate job. I was making good money, but I hated it. My husband and I were not getting along. I did not like him at the moment. He did not like me at the moment. We were not getting along. My stepson, who is my child, was going through a divorce, was back home, was heavily drinking, was staying in his bedroom playing video games, meeting random girls on Plenty of Fish and driving out places and coming home. And he was excess and had a couple of car accidents and just craziness, dealing with some PTSD. My relationship with my family was strained because I just cut myself off. I was the lowest place in my life. I was behind on all of my bills because I had lost a couple of jobs, and I was in like one of those like, don't take my house, let me try to work it out, kind of like, hey, I'm in hard times kind of thing. And all of that combined, I felt like it was all too much. It was all too much. All too much. But I was able to go on live for my business, or go on and go around people and go to parties and do things and smile and act like everything was fine. And I felt like a fraud. And I walked out of that bathroom on that Tuesday night, and I saw my belly before I saw my face, and it snapped. My world snapped. I was done. I was literally at a place right then and there where I was like, if this is what my life is going to be, just take me now. Just give me the diabetic coma. Just give me the heart attack that I'm trying to find. You know, I'm smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day, taking 20, 30 bong hits, eating anything was grease. I was just be done with me. And I never heard voices so loud as I heard in that bathroom telling me to suck it up, Buttercup, and get off your ass. This is not who you are. There are things for you to do. You have people that depend on you. I knew in that moment, like, I have something bigger that I have to do in this life. And it is not sitting in a cubicle. It is not eating myself to death. It is not living here in Chesterfield, Virginia, in this house. I hated that house. I felt like that house was just like the yoke that tied me down, right? It was not what I wanted. It was what I settled for. I was forcing my life to happen, and I had no power. I was forcing my life to happen, and I had no power. So I defined what it was. I defined that I wanted to be happy. At all cost, I wanted to be happy. And then I said, well, how do I get happy? And I'm going to tell you, like, designing it, defining it, all of that cost me a lot of money. I give y'all this for free. It cost me a shit ton of money, right? I started working with people, with life coaches, I guess what you call them, spiritual workers. And I realized, number one, and the next day, the first thing that I did was like, I am ready to control my life. I felt like everything in my world was controlling me. I wasn't defining, I wasn't designing. I was just along. I felt like the clown at a rodeo that's in the barrel that's just getting kicked around by the bull. Like, I was just the fun sideshow trick that everybody thought was fun, but my life was out of control. But nobody looking in. When we went out to dinner with people, or we had family affairs, we had the $300,000 house in the subdivision. We had good jobs, and we had brand new cars, and we were fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. Everything's great. Oh, I love you too, sweetheart. Have a good night. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. When I started, I said, I just want to be happy. I said, well, what can I do? Like, I didn't want, before I even knew, like, I was like, I have to take control of something. And seeing the stomach, and for me, it was like, I can control what I put into my body. So the first thing that I had to design, right, I couldn't fix all of it at once, but I could work on one thing, right? And I knew my goal. And I said, my goal is to get healthy. My goal is to reclaim my health. And the first thing I need to do with that, because all the doctors telling me for the headaches, I stayed in bed with a migraine. I was always depressed. It was always like, I just don't feel like it. I had a reason to get out of everything. I mean, it was grief. It was grief. And I was living in grief. And I was like, I have to stop this. I have to stop living for something that I'm never going to change. What can I change? What is the one that I thought to myself, like, my mom killed herself with food. And I am doing the same damn thing. I am doing the same thing. I am doing to my family what my mom did to my family, to me, was that I just gave up on me and gave up on caring. And when you give up on that, your health declines. And if you don't take control of it, you can put yourself into a very early grave. She did. Very early grave. And I didn't want to do that, but I was on the path to that. So I said, the first thing I can do, I can control what I do. I need to set a goal. I decided I was going to lose 100 pounds. That's something that was an achievable goal. It made sense to me. All of the things that was the step one. Step one was just losing weight. It was something that people do all across the world. There's tons of ways to do it. Dis-ease. There's disease in your body. It's dis-ease in your body. Exactly. And so I decided, and that's what I started designing, right? I started designing my eating plan. And then I started designing, then it started branching out. It's like that expressway, right? You start seeing the billboards on the road on the way there. Like, okay, I'm goal oriented. I'll start taking care of myself. When I started looking inward, right? And I started looking at that, then I was like, okay, well, I'm on this diet. I'm set. I'm good. I'm ready to go. Then, I started realizing what triggers me to want to eat. If Red comes home and he's in a bad mood and he says something half out the side of his neck to me, then I feel like I let that affect how I feel about me. Like I assumed that what he said about me was true and correct. And then I take it to heart and then I try to make myself feel better by going to eat. So then I started to figure out when I was designing that, okay, I can control what I put in my body, but I can also control what I believe about myself. And then that design, right? That design builds from there, right? That design, I was like, okay, well, to do this is a hard thing to do, and to have the willpower to, I did keto. That was my way to do it. That's my endocrinologist had said that my A1C was super high. I was type 2 diabetic on the path to that. They were giving me metformin. I wanted to reverse that. That was the big thing. My mom started with like metformin. She ended up on shots. I was like, I am going to get off of that. And the quickest way for me, and it was working, was to do low carbohydrates, no sugar. I did keto. That's a hard diet to do. And I didn't cheat for 1 solid year. I didn't do Christmas fun. I didn't do Thanksgiving fun. I did not my birthday, not your birthday, not Jesus's birthday. I didn't cheat. If I made a cake for my family and I got icing on my finger, I did what no one does. I did what no one does, and I wiped it off with the paper towel and washed it away. I didn't do that. For 1 year, I worked on me, right? And in that year, I realized food wasn't the issue, right? You realize, right into lose a negative opinion of yourself. That's what you have to do when you make a decision. Now, I made that decision. I lost 100 pounds. I probably put 30 of it, 40 of it back on. I know I put 40 of it back on. It's up and down. I can maintain. But I realized there was so much more of me. There was the part of me that I was self-loathing had nothing to do with the way I looked. It was all the shadow work, all of the decisions and choices and all the negative self-talk that I have done to myself over the years. You're not worthy, you're ugly, you're not funny, you're not smart, you don't deserve, you're awful, this, that. And as I started, taking control of and going down one path, it's like going down the river and then you open up to tributaries and they're like everywhere. You're like, which way do I go? Right. And they're all connected. They're all important. And sometimes that designing of that journey, it's not a straight path. It's not like a checklist. It's not a map it's like at the intersection, make a right. It is not that clear. It's like at the intersection, do some shadow work and sit there for 2 years and then decide which way you're going to go. I am not saying that the design part we could talk about for the next 10 years and we'd all still be designing. Because that deliver part, right? That deliver part is interesting. That's the last part of this whole like idea. And that deliver, I'm like, but here's the thing, right? You deliver on yourself when you're designing more than you even know about, right? More than you even know about. But here's the biggest thing. Here's the number one takeaway from all of this babbling that I do, all of this bullshit that I talk. It's just putting one foot and doing something. Designing is just moving forward. Designing is 1,000 million % committing to the process and detaching from the outcome, right? I know that I need something better. I'm going to define what that is. I'm going to define that I'm going to self-love myself. I'm going to be a light. I'm going to be a shining, bright beam of happiness in this world, whatever that may be, right? And then that designing is a lot of work, right? And it's not hard work, I don't think. I think it's just work that needs to be done. Because sometimes it's fun work, right? Sometimes you meet amazing people. I have met so many of you all have come into my life because of this journey, right? And in designing, that's where all the fun happens. Like I feel like getting there is the fun, right? The road trip is the fun part. That is life. Designing is just living your life and choosing every single day to hold space despite of the bullshit going on in the world, to do the best you can just for today, right? I tell Red, I'm like, the 4 agreements were: be impeccable with your language, don't assume anything, take nothing personally, and always do your best. And I told Red, I was like, I'm doing my best. Well, your best. So he was like, well, that's not good enough. I'm like, it's all the fuck I got. That's like, well, then make it enough. It's kind of like that movie Friday, right? He's like, Smokey's mom's like, go get me some cigarettes, and he's like, this is $2. She's like, make it enough. If what I'm doing is not good enough for you, that's not my problem. I am doing my best. And if you don't, then you do more. Then you do more. Right? I'm giving you my at every phase of my day, of every moment. I do the best I can do in that moment. My best yesterday morning, physically, was a lot better than my best this morning. I can promise you that. I can 100% promise you that my best yesterday when I got up was better than my best today because I hurt today. I did a lot yesterday, so today I'm kind of paying for it, right? But the only thing is, I'm not going to tell you what your best is. I don't know what your best is. What I get on your best day on Monday might not be your best on Friday. But so for me, right, my best on Monday might not be my best on Friday, but every freaking moment of every day, I am doing the best I can do in that moment. And designing is doing that, right? Designing is committing to the process, detaching from the outcome, and doing your best. I spent a year doing keto, and I've tried to go back to it a couple of times. Like, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Doing my best. Designing it is also this, right? Designing it is also doing the hard work. And it's not calling it your best when you know you're not giving it your best. Right? That's what I had to learn too. I'm like, my best back whenever I was laying in the bed having depression, was not the best that I had. It was the best that I had to give. And I only worry about my expectation of me. Because here's what I know to be true. And can y'all give me some amens, hallelujahs, if y'all believe this about yourselves as well, is that the expectation that I have for me, the expectations that I set for myself, I cannot even fathom anyone else setting them any higher. The bar I set for myself is so high because I live inside my skin. I know me. I set my bar so freaking high that I know nobody expects anything more than I expect out of myself. I always say this. This is how I go through life. I'm like, I know what my expectations are of me. And if you want more from me than what I want from me, then you are an asshole and you need to sit down because you don't even know. There's no way, there's no possible way anybody expects more from me than I expect from myself. So that's why I can stand in my power knowing that I've always given what I've got to give because I give everything I've got every day to myself first because I have to do it for myself first. Got to put my mask on to breathe before I can put your mask on to breathe. It's like, what are you doing? I'm doing a meditation. I'm going to go take a walk. I'm going to put my feet in the dirt. He's like, we got to, I was like, I need to do these things and do those things. Give me a moment. I promise I'm gonna give what I got, but you gotta let me do it my way. And when you expect the most out of you, because here's the thing, right? When you're not living in your definition, when you are not working to design, when you are just letting life, you're just that clown in the barrel, and you're just letting the bull kick you around, and your world is like whatever the hell I bounce off of is what's happening today. If you have zero power in your life, and I expect so much out of myself, and I give, like, I do the work that I can stand in my power when someone criticizes. I don't let it bother me. I don't take it to heart. People like will say Heather. I'm going to use you an example. I'm going to use Heather Johnson as an example. I asked how something was. She's like, well, packaging wasn't the greatest. It didn't get to me in the right. It kind of flip-flopped around. It got broken up. It tasted great, but it didn't look like I thought it was going to look when it got here. It kind of got junky. Girlfriend. She's, I was like, thank you for telling me. Thank you for letting me know so that I can fix it going forward, right? Now, 5 years ago, my ego would have been kicked to death. I would have made excuses like, well, if I had chips that far, I would have thought of some reason to be snarky about why my packaging was right and they were wrong. Because ego sucks. Because I didn't know because back then I wasn't giving my best. Right? So when they would say that, my ego, like, I told you we suck, we're awful, and you would believe it. I would believe it. Now I'm like, I did my best. It didn't work out. I am so very sorry. Let me figure out a way to fix it. And I figured out a way to fix it, right? I didn't spend any time wallowing in the defeat of it. I didn't spend any time beating myself up about it. None. I'm like, I did the best I could do in that situation. I tried my dead level best. That didn't work. Let's regroup. And then I problem solved. I didn't spend a week going, my customers think I'm awful because the packaging is messed up and I'm a horrible person. I didn't do that. I was like, okay, there's no time for that bullshit. We got other people who need packages, and I don't want theirs to be screwed up. Let's problem solve this bad boy, right? Now, I want y'all to also know that this process for me started in 2018. It is 2022. Do not think that this is a trip, y'all. This is a road trip. Like I was telling you about if it's a shortcut, if it was easy, it would just be the way, right? But we have to go around our asshole to get to our elbow in all these circumstances. And here's what's interesting. I have a note on this, okay? I have a note on this, which is interesting. Thank you. Very next package, and everyone since has been perfect. Yes. And that's what you have to do, right? But if I would have taken all this time to blame, to play victim, oh, it's my fault. Okay, so, I'm playing victim. Why am I victim, right? Playing victim takes too much time. You got shit to do. That's what I decided. I have this weird note on here. I don't know why it popped in, and I think it has to go, it has to come out. It's interesting. I didn't even look at this. It's really scribbled, and it says, when you decide that you deserve, you will work on your whole self and not just one part of you. And sometimes when you work on your whole self versus just one part of you, right? Don't just say that I have a bad attitude. There's a reason why, right? When you work on your whole self, when you work on the shadow work, when you really go in, and the designing and all of that is really deciding to go in. And here's the thing, shadow work is ongoing. And I saw something last night. It was really interesting. It was something came up last night. It was talking about soulmates or karmic partners. And it says that soulmates are beautiful and rare because they are they're the combining of two healed souls. They are the people who've done the work, and in this lifetime, they came here, and they're two healed souls, and they come together, and it's magical. And then they talk about karmic partners, who are people who are here to teach you other lessons in this lifetime, to be together. And I'm like, and I'm going to be 1,000,000% honest. Red and I are apparently karmic partners, because I know that neither one of us are healed souls, right? We do have work that we're working on, but here's the thing: karmic partners can be beautiful things, because we are here to support that work. And my goal is that at some point on in this lifetime, or maybe the next one, we either heal together and become and that's kind of like where I'm at now with, and this is honestly like an epiphany I'm coming up with in real time. It really played on me, and I've been like, this, which is my throat chakra, has been on fire since I saw this whole like video situation, this like whole talk about this. And I was at a place where I'm like, okay, well, I know that the things that I'm trying to make for my life, right? I know that we're trying to work towards this, but I really defined it last night as we are becoming healed souls, and we're going to work through becoming healed souls together, so that in this lifetime we can go from karmic partners, and that our end goal is to leave this meat suit, this plane, as soulmates. And one of the things that I am learning about myself is that I am very good at inflating egos. And that is a bad trait, because ego is personality, body, all of that. Like I can make someone feel like $1,000,000. It's called inflating your ego. And with Red, I'm very good at it, right? I'm very good at maneuvering things where he doesn't have to ever feel bad. And what I'm learning is, right? What I'm learning is that, and I'm better at this. I'm just saying, this is a lesson that I have learned, is that I would rather be honest and be true, and I can love people without blowing sunshine up their ass, right? I can love you and be honest with you. And I'm learning that the people who I need to have around me, the people that I don't need to make them happy at all times, because that's my people pleasing side. And what I'm learning about that, and I'm working on my whole, so this is the shadow work I'm working on right now, is that I need to learn to hold space with people, even when it's difficult. Even when it's difficult, and I'm not gonna like back down off of things that matter to me just to make other people feel better. And I'm very, 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 very guilty of that. I'm very, very, very guilty of that. Is that to keep I'm easy to get along with. So I keep the peace a lot of times, and I like step back in things that I think, it's not worth it to me. Like, I got my zen, I'm over here. But there are times when I need to still push, because it's not doing him or you all or my friend or my sister or my dad or anybody any favors, because I'm just like, oh, that's fine. Like, get along to go along, right? Knowing that like there's like my message is my message, right? Like I've had, and I'm like, I feel like I should hold my space here, and that I should hold my power here, and I let go of it to get along, to get on. And I don't need to savor it. I don't. But sometimes it's just like the other night, Friday night, we were doing something, and he had a very set opinion, and it was just like, normally I would be like, I'm sorry, I'll fix it, I'll take care of it, don't stress over it, it's no big deal, have a good night, I got you, don't worry about it. I was like, no, you are being petty, and I am not going to ruin my whole night listening to this bullshit, this complaining. If you want to be an ass about this, then be an ass outside, because I am not listening to it. Right? Kind of how I was about it. And you could tell, like, he was like, I have never seen Tammy stand in her power like this. I could see it. I could see the wheels turning, like, you're being petty, and I'm done with you being petty. I'm not listening to the I went like full mom mode, right? I was like, you're being silly. It's no difference. And I was like, he kept like, you know how like they get on that like repeating? Everybody have like a partner or like a friend or a sister or a sibling or a parent or somebody that like when they get on something, they just repeat it. Like you'll like be having an argument, like and like their point is moot. Like it's like not even a point, and they're like, but the reason why I'm like, I don't give a shit why. I don't care. I do not care anymore. This is what we're doing. This is what I'm. He's like, well, if you want to do it that way, I'm not doing it. And I think he expected me to be like, well, I'll just get you what you want, and you can do it. I'll let you do, because I know he wanted to do it. I know it's like he wanted to have his hands in it, and it was mine. And I was like, okay, don't do it. Don't do it. And I called him on the bluff. Like instead of like giving in, right, so that he would be a part of it, like I could bring him into it. I said, if you're gonna throw if you're gonna be petty Betty, then stay away from it. Then don't touch it. I'll do it all by myself. But you don't get to talk about how it's yours or how you did it or any of those things. Because that's another thing. I'm like, you're not gonna stay, bitch about something and then I'm not doing it. I'm holding my power, right? And I noticed that he evolved. Because all the times that we think we're trying to save, all the times we think we're trying to get along, we're giving up our power, we're in that designing of that, like not honoring ourselves, we're not helping those people heal. We're not helping them come to realizations, right? All of the hardships in my life, all of the adversity, all of the people that held their space instead of like giving in to me, are what made me evolve and learn how to hold my own space. So don't be an enabler. I'm going to tell you that. Don't be an enabler if you are working on you, right? If you are working on you. And also in this design process, in this figuring it out process, know that, what you think, you go left and then you circle back right. Sometimes it's going to do that, but you have to be okay with the path that you're on. I think the biggest thing with designing it is really being steadfast in the definition of what your end result is, what it is you want to manifest, how your life looks in your mind's eye, and spend some time meditating on that and visualizing that. And that defining spot is so important because you have to have such a solid foundation, and you have to really be like vested in your definition of what you're trying to do. Because I'm going to tell you what, the path to get there is not easy. The path to get there is windy, it's bumpy, it's rocky, it's loud sometimes, it's uncomfortable. It's some days it's fucking miserable, right? Some days you cry, some days you laugh. But when you are determined to get to your goal, when you are strong in your definition of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and that's the most important thing, right? The most important thing in the definition, the biggest thing is definition is why, right? Yes, that's your blessing, that's your lesson. Getting there is the fun, right? It's the road trip. And the road trip and the designing of it is life, right? Um, so I'm gonna interject here on this. Melanie says I've always been an enabler. I unfortunately have done that with my adult children for so long that I've taught them that they do not need to respect me because of that. That is, I'm going to tell you this, Melanie. You don't believe that you deserve respect, because all you have to do, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about you. It matters what you think about you. When you hold space of I am your mother and you will respect me, and you have boundaries with that, they have no option but to respect you. And so anytime that they get off on not respecting you, that's because you have allowed it. You have not set that boundary. And I get what you're saying, but I want you to understand this, right? Don't allow them to disrespect you. And in no circumstance do you allow anyone to disrespect you. I say this, I'm like, you can choose to disrespect me. That is 100% your decision. I can choose not to be a part of your life. Now, when kids are little, like if I would have talked back to my mom or I would have disrespected my mom in my generation, you got your ass beat. I got my mouth popped. I was this kid. My mom hates an eye roll. There's spitting. You don't spit, you don't bite, you don't eye roll. Like I knew those things. Yeah, see, it is getting better because you set your boundaries, right? But a lot of times we project because we know that we have made maybe shitty choices in things, like we've picked the wrong partner, or we've maybe, for me, it's always been like I spent money I shouldn't have spent, right? Um, that's my big thing. Like I'll go shop and then I feel guilty and then I project like a sense of lack because I'm stressed about the money I spent. I did that forever and ever and ever. It was a cycle, right? That's how I got out of my sadness. I'd buy myself something pretty. And I'd go so far as to buy a $300,000 house or a $50,000 car because I wanted to feel better about myself. And I thought if the world thought that I had money, then I would feel better about myself. Right? It was the projection. It was the way it looked. It was the just so. Right? It was just the just so. Um, and it cost me everything. But it didn't because all in divine time, everything is unfolding, and that's what it all boils down to, right? Is the faith. The designing piece comes down to the faith in the knowing that you are divinely guided, that you are protected, and that every wrong exit is going to lead you back to the road you need to be on if you just stay on the path. And it's just remembering to continue to make forward progress. It's not staying in that exit, right? It's not taking the exit to addiction and then moving in there, right? It's not taking the exit to toxic partner and not ever getting back on the road. It's all of those things, right? All of those things on the road trip give you the best story at your destination, right? It's like you ain't gonna believe what happened. Like this shit's crazy, right? Um, I always tell my kids what my mom would have done. I know a lot of the issues with my kids where their father wasn't in their life and still isn't so. So I feel I needed to love to overcompensate because of his absence. And Melanie, I didn't have children of my own. So I'm always kind of like, I used my situation with my mom, right? And my mom was an enabler and my mom put up with a lot of cheating and my mom did a lot of stuff. I smoke and I know things exactly, right? But I'm going to tell you what, like there's kids who are growing up in shitty situations. Your girls turned out amazing. All of your kids turned out good. Everybody has their issues, girlfriend. Every one of us has our problems, right? And a lot of times we as a parent see every little thing that our kid, like I'm telling y'all, when Evan is my stepchild, I did not give birth to him. He did not come to live with us till he was 15 years old. And whenever he's been through divorces and jobs and bullshit and all the things, and I always felt like, okay, Red and I ruined him. And then I've learned to say, you know what? He's a grown individual. He is making the same choices in his life that I had. We all come from different things. I'm like, he had a roof over his head. He had plenty of love from step parents, from parents, from grandparents. He never went without clothes. I'm like, so the shitty choices he's making, it's not I didn't do that. I didn't ruin him. I didn't mess him up. It's not my fault. It's not my job to fix him as an adult. He has to take some accountability. And that's being an enabler to your kids as well. And when I started treating Evan like an adult, he's like, well, I need this. Like, you are 28 fucking years old. If you need to go to the doctor, you figure it out. And it's really hard to do that. And I think, being able to put those boundaries up and making him stand on his own, the boy is doing amazingly now. He still has his rough around the edges moments, but he had to learn his lessons. He had to learn that pushing your family to the point of exhaustion, there's a boundary with that because then he won't allow his children to do that to him. I think I found my soul twin. No shit. You're in my path for a very specific reason. The overindulgence on food and shopping. I'm here and I'm learning. I'm so very glad that you are. And I told Elizabeth that I'm actually going to probably start this summer. We're going to call it the Healthy Hippie Club. And we're going to do like walks. We're going to talk about like nutrition and how we do food edits and all these different things. But I'm going to tell y'all, the whole idea of the designing part of your life is the part about staying on the road, staying on the path. Sometimes there's going to be weather. Sometimes there's going to be destruction. Sometimes there's going to be accidents. Sometimes there's going to be smooth sailing, right? But I'm letting y'all know the important thing is, right? Stay gassed up and stay moving forward. It is not about the destination, but it is about the way you get there, right? And here's the thing. How many times have you been on a road trip, right? And have you found that there's like a path you didn't even know to take? Like there's a road you turned on by accident. Like I would have never seen these beautiful things had I not taken this path. I would have not met all of you amazingly beautiful people. I would not have had the opportunity to have this platform had all of those shitty million things hadn't happened. And so I am encouraging each and every one of you, as you are on this path, to enjoy the ride, right? And to look at the forest, look at the tree despite the forest, right? Take some time to inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. And that's why I talk about designing it as such a path and a pattern, because not oh my gosh, all my cards just jumped out, like big time jumped out. I don't know why that happened. Like they exploded in my hands. Like I've never had them do that. Like all of them just jumped out of my hands. My hands are also not working today. Like neither one of my thumbs will bend today. They're super swolled. Like they are like poofy. Like it's like I can't bend the thumbs. Like I have no thumbs. I told Red, I was like, I understand now why like monkeys are different than us. Those disposable thumbs are a big deal. All right, so interestingly enough, these two cards kind of flipped over, and I'm going to pull these out. We're going to talk about these two as well. We're also going to pull another one. Um, Angel Aura Quartz, lighten up, right? Lighten up. And that's a lot of it, right? Is that we take this path so seriously. And then the other one is lighten up, Angel Aura Quartz. Argonite, release your emotional baggage. Release your emotional baggage. So we're going to look at those two in a second. Both of those say a lot to me already. It's like, look at the difference. Look at the yin and the yang of that, right? Like the red fiery Argonite says to me, like it's like a fiery. I even have some of that up there, I think. Release your emotional baggage. It sounds so serious, right? You have to release that emotional baggage. And, we started this talk, right? This is interesting to me. And these might be the two cards today. We started this talk with talking about how you have to kind of define it and get on this thing. And it's kind of serious and make a decision and get down the road and start your journey and know where you're going and start making your map and releasing your baggage and all the things. And then we ended up laughing about whatever, and it's saying lighten up, right? Because it's not that serious, right? Don't take yourself so serious. Like, all of these things can happen with a smile on your face, and that's what's important, right? So let's see what these two things say to us in just a second. But what we're going to do is I am going, because my throat chakra today has been a little that throat chakra needs it, right? We're going to do a little throat chakra. I'm learning these little bowls, y'all. I'll do better with just the dinging of them. I really want to learn how to play these where they actually make sound. I play with them at night sometimes, and they do pretty good. And then that's some throat chakra music, right? And then we're gonna do some heart. Open up your heart a little bit. I think it sounds a lot better here than I think it does on camera. It gives me that vibration. And these are the Himalayan singing bowls, and certain things have certain vibrations. So like these are the chakra vibrational like levels. Marijuana and cannabis has a specific vibration as well, just like you do. So let's talk about the two cards we pulled today after we do a little deep breathing. I'm also going to make a suggestion on a Netflix series if you are new to meditation that is phenomenal. So if you have not already, I'm going to encourage you to go on Netflix and watch Headspace and go through. It's amazing. It's got meditations on each one. It helps you to like focus. The way that it's done is, the other night I did like 3 different episodes of meditations. I felt so good. And I'm going to tell you my little fun stuff in a second about our land. I'm going to tell you that in a second, but we're going to take some deep breaths in through our nose, exhale through our mouths. We're going to do 3 of those. Inhale. Exhale. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Smell the birthday cake, blow out the candles. Relax into some deep breathing. Angel Aura Quartz. Angel Aura Quartz. Yes, it's okay to lighten up. Life is serious enough. A little levity and perspective, right? We talked about perspective, right? Make time for the things that make you smile and laugh amidst all of life's responsibilities. Give yourself permission to prioritize fun. You deserve it. Embrace the childlike curiosity and excitement that you have within you. Be silly. Tap into your carefree, lighthearted nature. You know what they say about all work and no play. Stay connected with your innate playfulness so you can then, so that when it's time for work, you can show up as the best version of yourself. I love this. This card resonates with me so very much, right? Because that's what we kind of do. Like Hometown Hippie allows you to have a little fun, but we always encourage you to not do anything in excess, and you work hard, you play hard. We will be partnering with a local company, which is so interesting. And this, the reason why I think this card really reflects to me is because the company is a local company, and I know a lot of y'all know him. His name is Adam Grant. My husband works for his company, his family's company, um, and he has work life, and we are going to do a partnership where it's work hard, play hard, and we're going to wear each other's stickers and shirts and stuff. And he's going to be part of Peace, Love, and Feast Fest. So I was kind of stressing over like partnering with someone, and I'm like, this card let me know. This is also letting y'all know that sometimes you're too serious. You need to take a deep breath sometimes. And I have to remember that. Like on this spiritual journey, especially, you feel like you have to be like um, in flow and know what your shadow work is and do all the things. But sometimes the important part is when you're on this life's journey is just to remember to have fun. I tell y'all all the time, for me, gratitude and laughter are the two things that raise my vibration immediately. And this is what this card is reminding me today. Some of y'all need to lighten up, and maybe even I do a little bit, right? Core questions. What does fun look like for you? What makes you smile? When was the last time you laughed so hard you cried? Y'all know that because you watch me do it on a regular basis, right? And I'm gonna let y'all know, like the part of this company that I have created, this Hometown Hippie empire that I'm building, right? It's rooted in the idea of creativity and fun. The reason that I love my business so very much is because I get to be creative every week and I get to have fun while I do it. I mean, when you taste test a peanut butter egg, you're going to have fun. I'm letting you know. It's going to be a fun afternoon. Your whole your cheeks are going to go to your eyeballs. It's just how it works. Crystal action after laughter is why we breathe, right? That's what I do. I smoke pot and I know things. Some days it's just that's what I do. I smoke pot. Right? Other days I know things. I can't. I always. That's what I do. But sometimes I know things. Right? Your affirmation this week is going to be: I allow myself to have fun. I allow myself to have fun. Today, find a reason to laugh and let loose. Tell a joke, watch a funny show, or share a funny picture with a loved one. So, lighten up. It's okay, right? We talk about all this stuff, but it's not meant to be so serious, right? Don't be so serious. Argonite, right? We're going to. Oh, my hands hurt so bad. release our emotional baggage with this fiery stone, right? We're going to release emotional baggage. So this says, this is all today is all about light, because here's the first line of this. It's time to lighten your load. Lighten up and lighten your load, right? So whoever this is meant for, all of us, right? Give yourself permission to acknowledge, process, and release any emotions that no longer serve you. Emotional baggage can manifest in different ways. And this is what's so interesting. Like this, oh my gosh. Give yourself permission to acknowledge, process, and release any emotion that no longer serves you. I started this discussion out, where's my book, talking about um, designing, right? And how you can't like quit your job, sell your house, divorce your husband, and leave your kids because they don't no longer serve you. You have to look inward and fix you. That's what this card is saying, right? It's about releasing the emotions that no longer serve you. The self-doubt, the self-loathing, the negative self-talk. That's the things when you define that you need to release is what you're looking for, right? It's those emotions. Emotional baggage can manifest in different ways. Shame, disappointment, anger, guilt, and resentment. Can I get a hallelujah, amen? If those are the things that when you go into your defining, that are there's nowhere in the defining of like where I want to be in my life for me, where I want to be the best version of myself. Does it say I want to be shameful, disappointed, anger, guilt, resentment, right? And if I look at this list I have here, when you work on yourself and you define and you decide, define, design, and deliver, you get rid of doubt, depression, dependence, and disappointment, which are all of those words, right? So you want to start working to take care of you. This is all a part of the human nature. But while these emotions may serve as protective barriers, right? Because that's what I was saying. Like when you compartmentalize, you can say, well, I'm shameful because I eat, but I'm a good spiritual person, right? When you're working on your entire body, I'm like, I'm not going to be ashamed of what I ate. I'm going to own it. I'm going to stand in the power to know that I ate those things and I did not treat my body well. But then I'm going to know that I'm going to do my best to make those better choices next time. Can't go back and fix it, but I can move forward and stop doing it. Right. And when you release that sense of shame, because what you do is when you shame yourself, you go into like, well, I feel bad about myself and I'm going to eat some more because that's how I feel happy. Or I felt bad because I ate something. So now I'm going to go buy something I don't need to make myself feel less shameful. Anybody can anybody feel that? Because I can feel that. Oh, I feel that really hard. I really did that a lot. I did that a lot. Um, wow. But while these emotions may serve as protective barriers, right? Um, eventually they can become heavy burdens that our spirits need to shed. That's shadow work. Acknowledge and redirect these feelings in a healthier, more positive way. You alone have the power to pack away these emotions in order to move forward, unhindered and unencumbered. Right? So I'm not asking you to let down your bird, I'm not asking you to like shuck off your job. I'm not asking you to like leave the relationship. I'm not asking you to like tell them kids they need to get a job and they're like 3, right? But what I am telling you is that you have to shed the baggage of the things that no longer serve you on the negative self-talk, the shameful, the disappointment. You have to work through that. That's how you heal your soul. Melanie, you have to stop feeling guilt over what happened for the last 20 years and look at how you're going to change things for the 20 years to come. You can control that 20 years. That's the design. That's the define. You can't define. You cannot change all of that. If you are trying to figure out what you want in this life, and I'm sorry, y'all, it's coming in hard and hot now. Oh, sometimes these cards are powerful, right? You can't control that. It's already done. You get rid of that. This is the healing. This is the roadmap. The roadmap is how do I get from this place of shame and disgust and disappointment and sad and in debt and overweight and pissed off to where I want to be. To where I want to be. to where I deserve to be. How do I get from here to there? You do it by living the life you design, by designing your life, by getting in the car, not not the physical, you know what I'm saying, like getting into the life, by living your life in a way that is honoring yourself. And when you honor yourself, you honor those around you. By taking the first turn. You're going to get off the exit you're on right now if you're not happy with where you're at. You're like, okay, well, this exit was not it. I did that. I'm like, well, 300 pounds and broke is not the exit. This is not the street. I'm at the intersection of overweight and tired, and I want to go to like healthy, the intersection, or of healthy and comfortable. And how do I get there? Right? And you just start with one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Persistence is the key. Be impeccable with your words. Don't assume anything. Don't take anything personally, and always do your best. And I'm going to tell you this every week. Read the 4 agreements. It will change your life. It will change your life. For some reason, I need to pull a butterfly card too. I don't know why. These are just going to have like a single word on it. We're going to see what this is about today. I don't know why I need to pull a butterfly card. You'll see like they'll say new career, or it'll say self-employment, or something else. My GPS is recalculating route. Recalculating route. And that's what you have to do, is like be okay with that. Be okay with recalculating. Be okay with that. Be okay with one moment, please. Right? Be okay with that. These cards today can be very powerful. Let's see what the affirmation is for Argonite. Core questions, good things to journal, okay? Good things to journal this week. I'm going to journal these this week. What negative emotions keep popping up for you that you've been ignoring? How would it feel to stop carrying that weight? What's stopping you from letting go? Crystal affirmations, and I want y'all to affirm this today in the comments for me. I am light and free. Today, when a negative emotion surfaces, examine it, consider where the emotion came from, then gently let it go without judging yourself. I am light and free. I am light, L-I-G-H-T. I am light and I am free. I love that very much. I am light and I am free. And then the other one I'm going to do is today, I am happy. Like, I am laughing today. The world is happy. There's no reason to be in a bad mood. I'm tired today, so I'm going to tell y'all what I'm going to do. Interestingly enough, I just saw this one's aquamarine. And I don't know why this affirmation came up to me, but I like this. I surrender to the ebbs and flows of my life. I love that. Stay fluid. Stay fluid. Stay frosty. We're going to pull this butterfly card. I'm going to let y'all go. It's already been an hour and 15 minutes. I had no idea. I got on a roll today. Y'all. But while I'm pulling this card, I am going to share with y'all my news. Red and I have been in a land search to try to find the forever home of Hometown Hippie. Not only the Hometown Hippie, but Red and I as well, the Nelsons, we've talked about this on lives. I'm going with the flow. I'm light and free. I'm light and free. I'm light and free. No negative. I love it. Here's the thing, Melanie. They come in. You have to honor them and release them. And I'm so excited for so many of you guys coming to the retreat. We do have, number one, I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Number one, the new menu is coming out today. I have some new fun stuff coming out this week, including like a tailgate box for the race. It's going to have some breakfast treats in there. It's going to have some midday fun and some hot sauce and stuff like that. So if anybody's going to the race, or anybody that's going to the race, let them know I have a boogity box. That's what I'm calling it. Or tailgate box. Or if they're going to a festival or something like that, I've got a tailgate box. I have a treat that I'm thinking of releasing this week. I think I'm going to do some lemon pound cakes, some individual lemon pound cakes. And I'm pretty positive that I'm going to go ahead and release the peanut butter eggs from the Munchie of the Month box. Now, if you get the individual peanut butter eggs and not the box, you will get them for $15. There will not be 10% off of your order. There will not be a prize egg. There will not be all the fun stuff in the box. But if you just want the eggs, you don't want the box, I think you should get the box. The Munchie of the Month box is available till the 10th of the month. We've got 7 more days to claim that. This month's box is April Showers Brings May Flowers. It's going to give you a peanut butter egg that is delicious. Elizabeth will tell you that thing is bomb.com, and it will you up. It will. You're going to also get the Be the Change pollinator pack to plant wildflowers. It's April Showers Bring May Flowers. I'm sending you flowers so that you can have those May flowers showing up. And you also get a prize egg. Inside of every egg, there is a prize. Now, there's free treats in some eggs. There are free savings in some eggs. There's one golden egg, and it's worth $50 in free Hometown Hippie swag. Not swag, but like stuff. It's a $50 gift certificate. You can use it anytime. And you get 10% off of anything you add onto this order when you grab the box. Plus, you're getting that big-ass peanut butter egg. So that's what this box is. That's available. There'll be a new menu. There's going to be root beer. It was an amazing. Thank you. I'm very proud of this box. We are also doing the lemon pound cakes, the little individual ones, I think, this week. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to go figure out some things. But we are going to change new lollipops this week, root beer lollipops. That's what I'm doing this week. I have the stuff for it. I'm really excited about it. So we're going to release those, and then some other little special things that I'm not telling you about. You have to go check the menu out to see it. So let's go ahead and pull the last card today. I don't know why I have to pull this. And I'll tell you about the land and all the things. I'm going to see what this card comes out as. Finance. Finances, right? Finances. That Reese's Whoopie Pie is the ultimate. I ate one of those for my night medicine Friday night. And I woke up in the bed. I didn't know how I got there. I was like, I was asleep in my recliner. How did I get in my bed? It was really good. And I didn't hurt. That's why I was able to do all the things yesterday. Like I was able to like climb Everest yesterday, and our land looked like it. So finances came up, which is interesting, right? I don't know why that came up. We're talking about finances a little bit. So Red and I have been looking. We really wanted to buy the place we're at now. We love this piece of property. We really have asked, we have begged, we have please. And he has been saying no. He's like, well, maybe once one of my kids gets out of private school, but then it's like, nah, probably not. And I told Red, I said, I cannot sit here waiting for someone else. I don't feel in flow. I feel like it's just prolonging the no. And we need to start looking. And I said, we were fine where we're at. Like, we can make this. This is fine. I'm happy here. My business is doing fine here. I can't grow like I want to. But for right now, we're in flow. It's all good. So it's time to start looking. We've got to figure out what we're going to find. We have been looking to the I'm exhausted about looking. Like, I have looked and looked and looked. Everything that felt right before we can even go look at it, it's under contract. So I found this land. It's in Nottoway County. I found it on land.com. It's a land company that owns it. They had 2 pieces of property. One was off Twin Bridges Road, which is still available. It's 5 acres over there. And it was not enough space for us. It was neighbors were too close. We wanted some privacy. We really were hoping for waterfront or enough acreage where we could make whatever we had have water on it, right? That was our goal, was to and Red and I, he had kind of said, he's actually literally said to me, babe, he's like, I know that I have been a pain in the ass about wanting water on the property and telling you that, I want water. I don't know if we can do it without water. I really want what I want, kind of thing. Like, let's don't settle till we can afford water. It's like, financially, babe, I'm like, I can't see us being able to afford waterfront property. So I did a little meditation yesterday morning. I'm like, allow me to see and feel this property with an open mind. Everything I've gone to, I have seen where I live now, and I'm like, I want what I want. I want this, right? And I asked my angels, guides, and helpers yesterday to, like, if this is the place, open my eyes to see the beauty of the world outside of my property. I am very much, this house has cast a huge spell on me. Like, I'm very comfortable. I am very, I could deal with this forever, right? But I know that it's getting to be time to move on. And so we went out yesterday. The property's off of 723. It's off of Chute Road. It's called Dogwood Road. And they're 10 acres. And it is 10 acres is a lot of land. Like, I had no idea, like 10 acres is a lot of land. 3 acres here. This is 3 acres. And the house we built in Chesterfield had 0.48 acres. It was like half an acre, right? Crazy, like small little spot. It's all wooded, but there's 2 creeks, unnamed creeks, which means we can have our pond put in. So we signed the contract and put the land under contract yesterday on the we put the contract on the land yesterday on the hood of the truck. We signed the contract for 10 acres of land yesterday on the hood of our truck, shook the man's hand, and we close on June the 1st on 10 acres of land that we can turn it into exactly what we wanted. It's got a 3-bedroom home perk site. If you check out my stories, that's the home plan that we are going with. I found it. I've been eyeballing this, like, idea of what I want. It's perfect land for a walkout basement. So we're going to go ahead now. We're going to stay where we're at. The plan is to close on June the 1st. Then we will start clearing the land. We're going to cut the driveway, the culvert in, and we're going to dig out the pond right now. We can afford to do that. We're going to start with that. We're going to get the land set up and then get the house site cleared. Within 24 months, we hope to have the land cleared. We're giving ourselves 24 months from June 1st. So we're going to have the land cleared, the driveway put in, the pond put in, and then our goal is to go ahead and dig out our basement to get the basement done. And once the basement is done, we can move into the basement, which saves us money here. We're going to pay all of 2 places. And then once the basement is done, it'll have a full, like, setup in the basement. We'll go ahead and move in there. And then Red will take a hiatus from his job. And then he will go in and build the remainder of our house to spec. Because he's a builder. That's what he does. He builds houses. He's built houses the whole time we've been together. But we've always said he wanted to build our house, but we didn't want to do it on weekends and stuff. So we're going to go in, and once we're in the basement or we're on the property, then we are going to build the house and the Hotel Hippie building. That might go in before the house goes in. That might be the first thing we get on the property, is the building for me. That I can work on stocking the kitchen and all that stuff while we're doing all the things. We're trying to do it out of pocket. So as much as we can out of savings as we can afford it. We'll probably get a last push loan at the end. We're probably going to last push loan at the end. Finances is what popped up because that's what's been on my mind today. I'm like, here's what I said. Do not make any more land. Worst case scenario, I get a well and septic on that thing and I put a camper over there until I get what I want. Right? I'll make it work. I'm like, I'm not leaving my kitchen. I got to have a kitchen and all that stuff. But we'll make it work. We secured 10 acres of land. I think so. I feel like it is. It's going to be slow process and cellar dwellers. Yeah, I don't know. Red said that he thought that we should just build the house all in one fell swoop. Stay here until we're ready to go into the house. That's what he thinks. We're going to play that by ear. He says that we build the basement, not the house, at one fell swoop. We're going to be in that basement longer than we want to be. That's my fear. So we're thinking maybe not. We have friends that did that and they live there forever. I'm like, nope, I want the house. So we may end up doing all of it at one fell swoop. We're still trying to see how the inflation runs, see how prices run, see how bartering goes. Because there's things we can't do that we're going to try to do all the things. I'm also going to pay people for what needs to be done, and I want it done the right way. So if you're local and you know anybody that does ponds and land clearing, message me. I'd love to talk to your people. I'm not looking for cheap. I'm looking for affordable, and I'm looking for good. I pay for quality. So that's where we're at. And I thought today, like I was like, usually when I do something big like that, like I start second guessing everything. And I'm not second guessing it. Red is, I think, a little nervous about it. We have not told anybody in our families yet. I messaged my sister and told her. He has not told anybody yet. Not a soul. They're not in this group. They're not in any of these groups. It's not I wanted to be in Cumberland, but I went and I felt that property. Now, let me tell you the truly weird thing about this. Okay, there is a wedding venue around the corner. It's a really like a 1 mile road. It's like a dead end road where our house, like the land is. And about, I don't know, our neighbors are Dogwood Plantation. It is a wedding venue and winery. And Red did some work for those people when we first moved back here. They were starting to get that going. And his brother had the contract for trim, and he was doing something else. And Red needed some work between moving here and starting his job. And he did this little subcontracting job for this guy. And he told me, he's like, you and his wife should get together. She's got this beautiful wedding venue. And here's the cool thing about this wedding venue. It's a Black-owned wedding venue. And the lady her husband, the Elliots that own it, Red told me they own this property where her great-great-great-grandfather was a slave on the plantation. And now they own the property. And they actually have the cabin that her family, like as slaves, lived in, and they're remodeling that cabin. And I feel like there's so much history, and there's something that's like very, very important. And I've got like goosebumps, and the hair on my arms are standing up. And I feel like her and I are going to partner for some really good things. And I don't know what it is, but it's a commercial venue with a commercial kitchen, with a wedding venue, with like water and grounds and places and like suites and places to stay. So I feel like there may be some type of like retreat, hometown hippie retreat that we can book, which is like right near my house, all the things, like a whole like weekend kind of getaway. That's just popping in my head, right? It's been like, I'm like, this might be something. This might be the partnership. There might be a reason why this happened, all the things. So I feel like there's a soul connection there. And we're going to find out. I've never met the people, ever met the people. I've only heard about it through my husband. So I'm anxious to actually meet them because they're my neighbors, so I have a reason to meet them now. But on that note, I am going to get off here. My stomach is still kind of like hurting, and it's a little nauseous from all the nasal drip and stuff. So I'm going to go drink some more water, maybe eat something, put some in my stomach, and get the day going. I gotta make some butter, do some laundry, things like that. I hope y'all have a beautiful, blessed day. I will be back tomorrow morning for Wake and Bake. Thank you for tuning in today. Hope you heard something that you needed to hear. I hope that you lighten your load, or that you are releasing that baggage, or you are on the path to where you need to be. And know that the new menu will be up today in a little bit. I'm still working on some ideas. I'm gonna go finalize some thoughts on some things, and then I will have that updated by it. I'll always post when it's updated, so you'll know. But on that note, as always, peace, love, and feast. And as I always say, stay elevated, and I'll talk to y'all soon.